Hello and welcome to Minimise Debt, Maximise Cash with Top Service, where each episode we will give you tips on how to maximise your cash and minimise your debt in the construction industry. My name is Emma Reilly, Top Service's CEO, Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Credit Management and current Advisory Council member representing trade credit. In this episode, Elysia Ady, part of our collections team at Top Service, and one of our members talk about handling customer resistance to paying interest on late payments. The questions are asked by Philip King, our non-executive director. This is taken from a joint webinar we ran with the CICM about charging statutory late payment interest.
Top Service chases late payment charges on behalf of its members and clients. How does your approach to these differ from normal overdue invoices, Elysia?
So I would say in terms of chasing late payment charges and a standard invoice, there isn't much that is really as different. So we would normally chase late payment charges as we would with a standard invoice. It is just more explanation that needs to be done. We need to explain more to the debtor as for why they've been applied. And again, the breakdown, as Paula was explaining at the start, that's explained a lot throughout when chasing charges with the debtors. But as well as that, it is really the same as like we would chase invoices. We just need to ensure that they're aware of the legal stance of if an invoice isn't paid, stays the same as if the charges aren't paid. And that's really how we do it.
Okay, thank you. And what resistance do you get from debtors?
To be completely honest, there can be a lot of resistance. A lot of the time, it's debtors not understanding the legality of the charges. A lot of debtors dispute the charges because they believe once the invoice is paid, these charges don't remain, and that's obviously not the case. A lot of the resistance in terms of them does stand on dispute, and again, it's all about explaining to the debtor why they've been applied and the full breakdown of how they've been applied to try and resolve that resistance really from them being paid.
Okay, Nicola, how do you overcome the challenges that get thrown at you?
I think it's more or less the same as what we've already discussed there. It's making sure that everybody is aware of the charges in the first instance. And it does sometimes, if you're making the education to the customer or to the commercial team, assist you in actually recovering those monies, because they'll think, right, okay, if I don't pay CEMEX, I'm going to get charged £1,000 for argument's sake. Whereas actually, if they go to another creditor, they might not have those charges applied. So you'll find that CEMEX will actually, because we're proactively managing it and saying, you know, if we have to pass it to letter before action, these charges will apply, that we will get paid in the first instance. So therefore, the charges don't apply. So I think really from the perspective and the resistance, it's more about educating and pushing that line forward to make sure that this is our stance. This is the CEMEX will be taking, the stance that we will be taking, and just making sure that it's continuous approach. So it's not that this month we're saying, oh, actually, you're 2 days late, we're not going to charge you, but next month we do. It's having that education and making sure it is a straight process all the way through. You always get resistance. Nobody likes to be chased for money, but at the end of the day, those monies are due. So, you know, if it's going to be a cost of CEMEX having to chase that in additional capacities, either using Top Service or another partner, then, you know, we need to push that forward and make sure that that money is collectible.
And what resistance do you get internally from the sales force?
Yeah,
and from
you can imagine. Yeah, you can imagine it's always anti-sales, isn't it? Anti-sales, and as much as we have and we educate the customer, we need to educate internally as well. So, with regards to the kind of commercial versus credit perspective or collection perspective, we're pre-advising in the commercial. You know, the commercial want to support that, and the commercial want to, you know, hold up on the charges. If they want to pay those charges that are applicable, then it's up to the commercial team. So there are occasions where we will push back and have that conversation and say, but it's not full, you know, it's not a full negative of this is what we're doing. There are situations where we do negotiate it as well. And it's again giving all of the collection agents and the teams and the credit people that knowledge that Paula has very kindly shared, and brilliant slides there that you can all take away and say, right, okay, guys, this is what we need to do. Having that knowledge and having that proactive conversation, sometimes you don't need to go to that point, Philip. And that's, you know, being able to proactively manage it is the best way forward. But the resistance is there. But I think when we've tried to pass it back and say, right, okay, guys, we've got a little bit of a legal situation here that you didn't advise us that we had a claim, for example, you know, that kind of pushing the charges back to them, it makes them more proactive in helping to chase the debt and give us the query information, because they're used to it now. We've done it for that long. We get them involved where we need to, and hopefully we don't get to that negative stage or resistance.
I do like that approach. You know, if you're that uncomfortable about this, then raise a credit note from commercial revenue, and you put your money where your mouth is. If you're really,
we use the word, would you like to sponsor this one with your name on it, Bob, for example? And it tends to become, actually, no, Nicola, we'll just go with what we need to do.
Yeah, I like that. Elysia, have you got any particular tips or strategies that you use?
So I would say it's kind of really, again, what Nicola's kind of followed on with that, really. A lot of our way moving forward with collecting the charges within Top Service is ourselves as the collections team and pre-litigation department being aware of how these charges are applied. With that explanation, it's very much if a debtor comes to us, for example, and says, I dispute these charges, I don't believe they're due, our response is plain and simple. It is explaining to them this is why they've been overdue. And it's just really ensuring that the debtor's aware that they haven't paid their invoice on time, they haven't stuck to their credit agreement with their client, and if they haven't done that, sadly there's consequences, and these charges are the consequences. And if our client wishes to proceed legally on them, they will continue to do so. And it's just really overcoming any sort of resistance, is just really ensuring that they are aware of the risks if they don't look to make payment and what can actually happen.
Okay, thank you.
If you have any questions that can't wait until we see you at the next webinar, do contact me. Search for Emma Reilly, Top Service on LinkedIn. The correct spelling of my name is in the podcast episode notes. Also, please do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Bye from Top Service.